They said it wouldn't happen. By they, we mean me and Dylan said we would not do this again, but it's wrestling adjacent, so guess what that means? Retirement means fucking nothing. Who's ready to come? Come, monkeys, let me hear your roar. We're fucking back. Let's fucking go. We're talking about the current WWE champion back when he was actually good, when he was in AEW as a mid-carder.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for everyone. There's like 5 of you that just truly not only would not stop asking for the Wrestler Review to come back, but also refuse to listen to the new show. And both of those things I respect, each more than the other, over and over again.
It is pretty spectacular, the amount of people that have reached out to be like, oh, that thing I don't tell my girlfriend about is back. Thanks, guys.
Well, you know what? We've all changed. I don't know how long you guys have been listening to us talk about splooge, but now we're bald. People who did not listen to the other show and watch us gradually get balder and fatter again must be a jarring image. But we're back.
Because we're both. What's nice though is we both got fatter through the old show and are now losing weight again. You know what I mean? Because when you're doing the Wrestler Review, you got to keep it tight because you need to run away from all of those criticisms. Hello.
Whether you like this show because we're funny or hate this show because we're annoying, baby, we're back. John, we are talking about the Prince of Wrestling, Cody Runnels. I'm going to be one of those guys who says he's fucking... I'm not using his gimmick name.
He was just Cody in AEW, if you remember. It's Cody.
No, it wasn't. It was Cody Rhodes. He bought the last name.
No, because it was both. There was a period of time where he was just Cody. First match.
And then he bought the name.
Then he bought the name. They bought the name, and they also were able to secure Bash at the Beach, I believe. It was the other... This is how fucked wrestling was in 2019, is Vince McMahon was so... like, clearly what was happening is Vince McMahon had steroid-induced dementia and was running around... like, Me Too happened. Everyone else used that as a wake-up call. Vince McMahon used that as a list of things to try on employees.
Yeah, he saw what happened to Weinstein and thought it was just the menu.
Yeah, he saw what happened to Weinstein and was just like, he lived his gimmick.
Haven't done that yet.
He lived his gimmick. I'm Bob Weinstein. And he, it was so like, it is insane to just go look at what wrestling in WWE was in 2019, and you're like, yeah, no wonder competition worked. Like, AEW was bad when it started, and it was like, everyone was like, oh, I know this is the putrid air of a baby diaper, but it's so much better than the putrid stink of one man's butt that we've been getting for 20 fucking years.
Yeah, within the time that we stopped the show and went back to it, wrestling, basically Vince McMahon fake left wrestling. Like, he left wrestling, then was like, haha, I'm back. And then real, actual things came out with, and I think this is the most important part, the Ari Emanuel essentially took over wrestling. Ari Emanuel now runs the UFC and professional wrestling.
And soon professional boxing, because he's taking over. Basically, he's figured out, wait, if we just start a boxing league, we can pay them like they're UFC fighters because boxing is so insane. And that's what they're doing. And the only person to stop them, Oscar De La Hoya. I don't know if you've been following the Oscar De La Hoya Dana White ramp up. The feud is ramped up again. De La Hoya is doing gack and fucking going on Instagram stories, Dylan. It is so good. I love drugged out celebrities. They never consider their background or their lighting, which I know is not really, is coming. That is tough talk coming from me, but still, it's so good.
Yeah, John already acts like he's famous. But the other thing is,
I'm on go.
I mean, with the boxing thing, I just do find it very hard to be like, listen, hey, you know how you get $20 million a fight? What if you got 20,000 to fight? Like, I just don't think that boxers will be lining up to do that. But I'm hoping because it'll be way better for fans if Ari Emanuel wins, because the second boxer will have to fight the third boxer because he will have no money. Yeah. But I am hoping that boxing stays shitty, or I'm hoping that these guys make $20 million to fight each other in interesting fights. No one gives a fucking shit about that. Here's what happened in 2 years. Triple H took over wrestling, and truly every single person, including myself, who said they would never watch WWE again because of Jamal Khashoggi was like, what if We listen to what the fans think. And then people were like, well, journalism is dead anyway. Why don't we literally kill it? Hell yeah. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes gets to really fight because it is real. Roman Reigns wins the title in one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time, where it's everything good about WWE, where it was literally fucking Avengers Endgame, except for my favorite part of it, The Undertaker refused to put on the Undertaker outfit, was like, nope, it's relaxed fit Mark from here on out. Choke slams, puts down his protein shake, choke slams fucking Roman Reigns. Basically, my favorite type of run-in to culminate a feud, which is there's so many run-ins, it's basically an even fight. They pin Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns becomes a good guy, and you couldn't have scripted it better. And Triple H, at the end of that, every single man who has a neck beard and balding like myself signs a piece of paper saying the Kosoji thing was fine. And you know what? We're back to where we started at the Wrestler Review.
No, I have a couple of things to say. One, AJ Styles will still end up being fucked over by the WWE. We are entering year 11. That prediction will come true.
AJ Styles not only beat our prediction, the world is now what AJ Styles thinks it should be.
Yeah, AJ Styles is the president. Like, make no mistake about it. No,
where's Sonny Kiss? Where's Sonny Kiss?
Yeah,
nowhere.
He's gone.
Where's AJ Styles? He's trend up. And fucking Daddy Trump's in the White House? Hell yeah. AJ wins.
Here is the thing that's also crazy about current WWE is it also proved Cody right. Oh, yeah. Bottom of hotel coffee. Yum and dum dum.
Oh, there's some colors in there that shouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
There's a blue.
Yeah. Buy me a Coke. Cody Rhodes started AEW going, we're going to do modern NWA. And the Young Bucks were like, no, we're going to do PWG with a budget. The Young Bucks won because Tony Khan was a fan of PWG, and then Cody Rhodes just went to the WWE, and Triple H was like, we're doing modern NWA. Like, just what the WWE now is just modern NWA. There's a bunch of matches that you can explain why they're happening in a sentence, and then the pay-per-view ends. Goodbye. Like,
I do really like that WWE is doing the thing where it's like, hey, you know how wrestlers stay in shape until they're like 50 years old now because of TRT and designer steroids? You can work your whole career on the indies. That's awesome. But the thing is, when you're 40, you can still wrestle WWE style. Yeah. So come here when you're 40. I still don't understand why Nick Aldis isn't a wrestler.
Like, I mean, I think that he's I think he's wrestling at WrestleMania potentially.
I think the RKO, this is recorded ahead, whatever. RKO to Randy Orton, but like a full-time wrestler, Nick Aldis, like what else do you want? He's 6'5", 240. He's fucking went to Turkey a bunch. I feel like he goes to Turkey every week to dash up that hairline. Like,
he also wants his, not only does he want that hairline fresh, he wants it to be Turkish hair. That's how British he is. It's for quality.
Yeah. Here's how British he is. He has a little bit of hair from everywhere across the British Empire. Yeah. My hair isn't. He took my hair.
Some of this is from Chad. Nick Aldis is such a great example of exactly that. It's also that old school NWA thing of, why is this guy the authority figure? Because he might be able to beat the shit out of you. That's the other thing that I like about Nick Aldis. Is he an active wrestler? He's inactive, but he might slap you. Like, he might do it. He's wearing a suit.
Yeah, it's nice to not have a scare authority figure. Anyway, but we're talking about the man who truly became the face of pro wrestling in spite of the fact it really didn't look like it, and was smart enough to leave AEW and come back to WWE because what he knows what we all knew in our hearts, which is AEW is truly only viable as something to make the WWE good again.
Yeah. The thing with Cody leaving AEW, which was so clever, was he did it. He knew and recognized that one of the EVPs is going to leave first, and whoever leaves first gets to be the person who left first forever. So either never leave or leave. And he recognized right away the type of man Tony Khan is. Tony Khan now has his new toy, which is CM Punk. I'm never going to be the same thing. I'll go to where there isn't a CM Punk. And that was like, he was, what it also clearly was like, oh, he was paying attention to his dad. Like, his dad clearly had explained to him, like, how the grander wrestling business had worked. While also, like, you also have to remember how fucked it was for Cody. Cody never got to, like, his dad was not working in wrestling when Cody was training to be a wrestler. His dad started training wrestlers. He's now Stardust. His dad, before he died, was like, quit. This is embarrassing to me. And then died. Then all the people that Dusty trained to be wrestlers became the biggest stars in the world. You're dressed like, hey, you know how your older brother pretends to be gay? You're that. Like, that, and then he goes and starts his own company. It is amazing that we still don't know the official reason why Cody left TNA or AEW. Like, it's not been explicitly.
I think you hit it. It's like he had CM Punk. Here's the thing I noticed from watching. So, all right, let's in true wrestler review fashion, both of our bad brains, we are organized. Here are the matches we're going to talk about.
Oh yeah,
Cody versus Dustin.
Boom.
Brodie Lee versus Cody, the squash match. And, of course, his final match in AEW versus Sammy Guevara. Now, here's the thing that Cody Rhodes definitely understands, above all, was that CM Punk had taken over as the face of AEW. So
100%.
He's doing Cody's gimmick, which essentially Cody understands that. Which one of the most brilliant things he did was he can't get a shot at the world title after he loses to Jericho. So he has the TNT title, which basically already puts him in like, listen, as soon as this thing started, I'm already in the Undertaker role where I'm one of the big figures on the show, but like it's a 2-hour show. I'll end hour 1. They can end hour 2. Whatever. We stay away from each other. We are passing each other by, but, you know, we fill out the card. So he understands that, but most of his role essentially is he gives these little like rundowns of what's happening in AEW as all his promos, and then he goes into his own feud.
Mm-hmm.
And even in his final promo, he talks about how he built AEW, he'll never turn heel. Because remember, people forget this. Cody Rhodes, everyone thought that him being such a huge babyface, they were like, oh, this can't be a Cody Cena thing. He has to know everyone fucking hates him. And that's why he left AEW. For his character, at least, that makes total sense why he left AEW. He leaves AEW because people are sick of him. People forget that. It's like people are sick of him. And it really comes off as like the girl you dated during high school. You thought you were going to go to college and hook up with someone that was way more interesting. And it turns out that, oh, shit, she now runs a law firm. And the girl you dated in college just has bipolar and is threatening to commit suicide every 8 seconds.
I think it's deeper than that.
Which is bad.
That is bad, of course. What is deeper with the Cody evolution in AEW is AEW, like any other non-Vince McMahon wrestling company, it just writes its first chapter. That's the problem. AEW's problem is it's a stack of books with Chapter 1, Chapter 1, Chapter 1, Chapter 1, Chris Jericho is in a rock band. Chapter 1, Chris Jericho is in a reality show. Chapter 1, Chris Jericho's in what he thinks Ring of Honor was in 2000. Like, that's AEW's problem. But the thing that Cody recognized that was smart was, I'm going to get blamed for all the bad AEW stuff because I was the first one out of the gate going AEW, AEW, AEW. And also, I'm not that good of a booker. That's the other thing that Cody has almost all but acknowledged. I figured out what I'm good at. I'm actually good at taking someone else's pretty much thought out ideas and implementing them as a wrestler. Here's what I'm not good at. Writing and formatting a full 2-hour wrestling show. Like, it's not good. All of the feuds except for MJF and Cody fell right on their fucking flat dick. The only interesting thing he ever did on AEW was the Jake the Snake promo, and he just stood there while Jake the Snake like finally remembered how to be sober and entertaining for a 4-minute segment. Like, and that's it.
In AEW, no, he did. I think he did a lot of great stuff, especially when you look back at it. But the real thing about...
I do not. Dylan, I just watched these matches, you little fucker, and I gotta say this. They all stunk. The Dusty Dustin match, I fucking hate. I hated watching
Cody
it live.
Cody versus Dustin. You hated that match. Wow.
I hated that match.
That match was great.
What was great about it? The fact that there was no story to it, the fact that you can literally watch a very competent territorial wrestler and another guy being like, this move, and then this move. Like, there was no... He's here
essentially
to
the whole match is...
I fucking hated it.
Cody's going to beat up, like, these brothers are going to fight. The build-up to it was kind of, like, bad. But the match itself is... The whole build-up to the match is basically... Dustin can do a lot more moves than it looks like he can, and he's 50. So he does all his showcase moves. And then how these matches should go, which is the active wrestler beats the shit out of the old wrestler. He makes Dustin bleed. Dustin does a big comeback while he's covered in blood.
Mm-hmm.
Does a fucking Canadian destroyer at one point. And the entire match is Cody's better than Dustin. But the thing is, it doesn't make sense because there's no bigger heel thing than... I've fucked up my pillhead brother, but then he says he needs his older brother, and it's a very emotional moment.
It's not an emotional moment.
It is an emotional moment.
It's not an emotional moment. I had
you
no
were
emotion.
not you were not emoted.
No.
Oh yeah, you're an only child.
That's right. So are you.
No, I'm not.
Sisters don't count.
There you go.
And I'm not an only child. I have a full brother. I have a full brother who's now a police officer, motherfucker, in your province.
Yeah. Halves don't count. Halves
That's
don't
true.
worry.
Yeah, no, he's technically a girl.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Shit.
You and your fucking half and half. Anyway, go for it.
I want to say a bunch of things, you fucking bald piece of shit. First of all, the build of this match was atrocious because they were basically like, guess who's the heel? Cody. Cheer for him. In that Cody's whole thing was, I'm going to end the Attitude Era. It looms too large over wrestling. Here's the thing that every diehard wrestling fan likes, the Attitude Era. So why the fuck are you doing that? Second of all...
That's why he's a heel. He doesn't want...
But he wasn't. Era. But they were also like, is he a heel? But they were also portraying like he's a good guy. He comes out with the most embarrassing entrance in the history of wrestling, destroying the Triple H throne.
This is a very He comes and he hits the throne. Oh. Here's my favorite thing: is it's one thing when it's like Brock Lesnar ripping a car apart because it's a real car. He just fucking throws a door. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Versus Cody Rhodes hits Triple H's throne, and they're not even confident he can break. Like just get something that would have, like, broken anyway.
Yeah.
He hits a throne, and then the shitty little fireworks that are probably the same ones that ended the fucking Moxley and Omega match go off. And then it just kind of goes down, and everyone in the arena is like, we really want this to succeed, so we'll pretend that was fun.
I
forgot about the throne breaker thing. I really did.
I watched this match with two professional wrestlers. I watched it with Colt Cabana and Hornswoggle. I watched this match, and this match was them realizing, oh no, there's a wrestling fan with us. Oh no. Because I stopped like being like keeping it cool and started being like, are you fucking kidding me? This is like, there is nothing, in the same way that I always found it really irritating when Andy Kindler every year would do the state of the industry speech at Just for Laughs and just go after the other big comedians, because it's like, hey, man, if you're the alternative, present the alternative. Don't just stand there and be like, hey, you know who's full of poo? Triple H. Like, why don't you come out on your throne? Like, prove to me that this is a better product than that fucking guy, and I will like it. I don't need you to remind me of his fucking stupid... Like, this was the AEW problem from the beginning, is they were like, well, to understand this nuanced Easter egg, you need to have watched 80 episodes of Being the Elite. I'm not going to do that. So just put it in a fun package.
Well, it was more like ECW style where, I think it would have been better if you come in and then just push the throne over, break the throne, whatever. But there's he gets a fucking sledgehammer from under it, adds like a full 5 minutes to it. And you're right. It is a babyface thing, and Cody's supposed to be the heel. And then
he can't decide, and they can't decide if he's the babyface or the heel. It's in the same way, and this is going to sound so stupid. If you're the babyface, you do not come to the ring with a hot babe. Only bad guys have a salute with them, because only a bad guy would be trying to distract you. This is
like some weird Cornette thing.
100%, I know. I'm sure Cornette agrees with me.
If you come to the ring with a girl with small tits, you're the fucking heel.
That's
Big
right.
Tits are for faces, motherfucker.
That's right. That's right. He gets it. He fucking gets it. Why am I not doing a podcast with him?
Big tits for heels. Big tits are for heels, you motherfucker.
He hides a foreign object in there. We don't know. She's a
Well, that's why it's a heel. It's like, Cody Rhodes' wife, she does both the things. She's got regular titties, and she's black, which is two heel things.
That's a heel. She's black of skin, wearing white trunks. That's a heel.
Some other heels. Moose from TNA. He counts as a girl.
Malcolm X. That's a heel.
Listening to this match was crazy. Just like the cognitive decline of Jim Ross is really put into picture, because it's like even back then, Jim Ross is doing great.
Well, what's crazy was I remember thinking when watching that match, what happened to Jim Ross? And then I went and I saw whatever pay-per-view AEW held in LA. I watched it live, and for 1 second you just saw Jim Ross move a bit, and you were like, well, that guy's dead. Like, whoa, fuck.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Jim Ross and holy shit, Excalibur and Alex Abrahantes. And Alex Abrahantes, it's like Excalibur's all over it, Jim Ross is all over it, and then Alex Abrahantes is like, yeah, but hey, you guys ever been to the bar? You guys ever been and got extra Pepsi from a Wendy's? It feels bad. And they're like, oh, I mean, this is the most emotional match in the history of mankind. One time I wore socks that were wet.
I just want to let everyone know that I ordered a sandwich from room service. It never actually arrived, and this isn't really probably the place to do it. But if someone could hear me from the MGM staff, I would love that club sandwich. You can just bring it to the broadcast desk. You can bring the one from before. I don't mind if it's cold.
I have bombed this awkwardly, and you can feel when the other guys around you are way better. And Alex Abrahantes is really feeling it, especially both Excalibur and Jim Ross give him a platform to say something, and essentially he goes, yeah, he's really got his arm there. They're basically like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you can't feel it. Like, Excalibur's from the new era, so he's nicer to him. He probably knows this guy. But Jim Ross, you could feel like, why the fuck is this guy here? Like, just get him the fuck out of here.
You also can tell that Jim Ross is very uncomfortable that Excalibur is wearing that mask. It's the funniest thing to look back on, which I couldn't detect in the first watching, but then rewatching it for this, you could just tell, like, Jim Ross is hitting the cuff, but take the mask off. I can't trust you.
I mean, all my notes from here are basically completely contradicting yours, because, like, the story doesn't make sense. It redeems this so-so story of, like, I'm going to fight my brother because he's the Attitude Era, and I'm going to beat up the Attitude Era, and the next thing I'm going to do is fight the Young Bucks with you. Like, it makes no sense. But, I mean, the whole idea of it, the whole promotion is that you're restarting it, so it's like, of course the storylines are going to make sense. The first things you're going to do are just super matches. It could be like, I'm going to fight my brother because fucking that guy's a bitch. Or, like, it would have made more sense if it was like Dustin being the heel against Cody, and then Cody beats him because, like, obviously Cody's the babyface. Like we just said off the top, his whole character is, I give the State of the Union for AEW, and then I work it into my feud.
Yeah. Thank you. Also, if you're setting up a match with the Young Bucks, you have the Young Bucks come in to interfere, and if Cody's the heel, you have the Young Bucks come, Cody stops them. That sets up that Cody and the Young Bucks are no longer on the same side. Like, it was also that thing of, like, it was, I don't want to be a real Jim Cornette here, but it was just, it was indie shit booking, and then indie wrestling. Like, every move was done the way that people complain about stand-up comedy now, where everyone's doing 90-second things for clips. Which, first of all, stand-up comedy was always about, every joke is about 90 seconds unless it's an overlong joke. That's why they work for clips. But this match, literally, it's like, big move set, rest for a big. Big move set, rest for a bit. Big move set, Dustin bleeds, Cody bleeds. They bled way too much. It didn't work for the storyline. It was also, like, 50-50 in terms of who's winning in the match, and then suddenly Cody hits, as he always does, 450,000 crossroads. Well, how does the crossroads work? Well, when you've had a move done on you 8 times in a row, it actually starts to really annoy you, so you just lay there for 3 seconds.
I mean, I loved it. I loved the match. Mostly, once again, what makes this match different than all the other matches? Dustin Rhodes is fucking 50. The other thing is he's been fully addicted to pills for his whole adult life, and he can still do this shit. Like, that's what makes him the natural. That is what makes Dustin Rhodes so elite. We were just talking about we recorded this episode. We basically did some warm-ups to get back in the fucking swing of things. But we were talking about Dustin Rhodes and the Blacktop Bully on the next episode you'll be listening to, and he talked about what how he didn't really stand out in the 90s because he was the natural, but he's this lanky guy. You kind of expect wrestlers to be swole back then. So to like basically be bigger like a wrestler should be, he just gets fat, and then he obviously has pill problems because he feels the pressure of being his father's son, all that shit. That's what makes him like unremarkable in the 90s. And then he just does some fucking Kegels, some DDPY, and listens to a couple Rogan episodes, and he becomes every 50-year-old now, which is, yes, I'm very flexible. Does my skin look bad? Of course it does. But he can still do most of what wrestling is. He's kind of like watching Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania. He's like, this guy's like 80% still there because he's a fucking athletic freak in some ways. So he's the showcase of the match, not his little brother who's like, hey, look, I can do a kick, and then also I have Hogan's weight belt.
Well, it's also the interesting thing of, it's also, you see a guy who's learned through WWE style, through a guy who learned through old school NWA style, which is Cody can have a match that's laid out specifically so Cody can have it. You can literally just be like, I don't know, Dustin, make these cardboard boxes look like they're kicking the shit out of you. I actually once did so much Dilaudid that I thought that was happening. Okay, here's how it goes. Like, the thing that I completely agree with you, that what is missing from all the other matches we watched and that this match has is Dustin fucking Rhodes is an exceptional wrestler and is really fun to watch. And also I can see why a company like AEW would not want to get rid of him, because he can just have a match for 8 minutes that I am going to kind of enjoy watching. And I guarantee he can explain to people footwork on certain things, because Dustin Rhodes basically just aged into being the old guy who runs the rodeo in Bareback Mountain. Or Brokeback Mountain or whatever.
No, Bareback Mountain.
Mountain. Yeah.
Use a fucking joke from 2002. Get after it.
Yeah, baby. Because I was just like, that's what I like about Dustin Rhodes as a character that I want to see, is just like, he should just be like in the back, and every once in a while someone's disrespecting, and he's in a classed Western shirt, and he just goes, "That's not how we do things around here, being elite." And then he just has a match with them. That's all I want from Dustin Rhodes now, is every Dynamite, like, Princess Nana accidentally does the swerve dance into Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes spills his sweet tea, and then he ends up having a 9-minute fucking brawl with Swerve. That's what I'm fucking looking for. Whose house? I don't actually have ring music anymore. I just walk. I would like all of the fans to reflect on their favorite moment with their father while I walk to the ring. That's what I want from Dustin Rhodes, baby.
And honestly, and a lot of the things that Dustin Rhodes and Billy Gunn have going for them that Chris Jericho does not as an AEW talent, is that, like, Chris Jericho did so many, like, cruiserweight matches, his body's fucked and he can't really move fast, and Billy Gunn and Dustin Rhodes never did those things. They did pills like adults, and now their bodies kind of, like, feel better because they got loosey-goosey off those old pills, baby.
Here's the other thing is, Jericho is too around. Jericho's got a podcast. He's on social media. He's always giving promos. They're not around as much. So you're always like, oh, yeah, Mr. Ass. I fucking love that song.
Yeah, they exist so people who used to watch wrestling can flick by and be like, fucking Goldust can still wrestle?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
That's why when people are always like, why the fuck does Dustin Rhodes still wrestle in a weird Goldust thing with half his face painted? Because he knows what side his bread is buttered on. Why do you think Goldberg was in black trunks with that beard? It's because Kevin Sullivan was like, someone's describing Steve Austin to someone. If we have a guy that looks like that, they might watch our show. This isn't fucking rocket surgery.
Yeah, and that sounds dumb, but I've said this a bunch of times. People used to watch, like, anytime someone watches MMA, no matter what organization it is, 90% of people think they are watching the UFC.
Yeah, they call it there's a
they call it
term.
UFC. Yeah,
my mom there's a term for this. My mom is a marketing professor, and she always talks about how it's the best thing for everyone else in your industry unless you're that company, which is, it's like the Kleenex problem.
Yeah,
everyone thinks that, like, tissues are called Kleenex, but the problem with that means is if you get bad tissues, you're like, man, Kleenex sucks. And it's like, oh, you didn't buy Kleenex. You bought some fucking other guy. You just think it's all Kleenex. That's the thing.
Wow. Truly something worthy of whogivesashit.com. You can use that.
Fucking got me. This match is indicative of what's everything that is still wrong with AEW, and was really wrong with Cody's run in AEW, is I don't care. It wasn't thought out properly, and it's annoying. And that brings us right to the fucking Brodie Lee of it all. This was when this was the Cody ends up dyeing his hair and no longer being blonde. This is the fans fucking hate Cody, but they also do not like Brodie Lee died, so we've all stopped talking about this. No one liked this angle. No one liked Mr. Lee.
There is fans.
Well, yeah, it's COVID, but this was early COVID.
I mean, this was a problem I had with AEW where I was still being a total simp and mad that the Saudis had murdered a journalist, but I wasn't watching WWE. I think had nobody. Oh yeah, they had all the screens, and then a bunch of people projected themselves as Hitler on the screens, which is good.
The best one was the amount of different. They finally just had to really start
Benoit
checking
ones?
the screens because the amount of different people that would be like, "It's me, Benoit."
So, but what I didn't like was they had the wrestlers, and this is gonna make your brain hurt if you don't remember this. They had the wrestlers as the fans, and the wrestlers didn't change their clothes. So, you would see fucking, already talked about, so why not, Sonny Kiss booing Brodie Lee, and then later on, he would come out and be himself, which I never understood. If you're gonna have all these people who need to be quarantined, you're a fucking son of a billionaire, you yourself have $1 million, just get 50 fans or whatever, quarantine them all together, and just make them, their job is that they watch this fucking wrestling now.
I think that's it was. What was also crazy about this period of AEW is they kept doing hot angles that needed a crowd and they wouldn't adjust it. This was also Kenny Omega going heel and becoming the belt collector, which was so good. I don't give that really could have used a crowd. I think that the problem was they should have just waited. I do not understand why they did that whole angle. They waited until they got full crowds back, and then they're like, beat Kenny. That was just the period of time they should have put the belt on Hangman Adam Page was COVID, and then they should have had it come out and then done the belt collector Kenny Omega. That would have helped them dodge so many of their current problems, but they didn't. So here we are.
The problem is that I think this was always going to happen because Cody Rhodes needed to leave because people were sick of him. CM Punk, this will be lost to time, but the MJF feud was fucking awesome. He was awesome in AEW until he outlasted his welcome because kind of like all fucking people like CM Punk, he needs a solid authority figure to say no to. That's why he was in WWE for so long the first time, because Vince above all is just an authority figure, even though a lot of the tricks that Vince used to control people, CM Punk completely saw through, and good for him. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's clearly kind of a fucking asshole, and and he needed a daddy, and Triple H's new daddy, who's nicer than old daddy. Brodie Lee versus Cody Rhodes. This is one of my favorite things because John Cena did this gimmick with Brock Lesnar, and it took 20 minutes of just getting the shit kicked out of him for him to eventually be pinned. Cody does this. He does this, the Brodie Lee one, and then he does with Malachi Black later on, and both does the same thing where Brodie Lee is the better one, where he just gets his ass kicked and then pinned. Like you said, this Brodie Lee character was not connecting at all. The Dark Order sucked.
The Dark Order really sucked. It was the first time that AEW got what I like to call Cornette mugged, which was they didn't understand that their fan base, that the people that listen to Cornette's podcast is not all of wrestling, but it is a good majority of the AEW audience. So if Cornette came up against a gimmick, that gimmick died. And he went so hard against the Dark Order so fast, and you can literally just watch them just fucking tank. And it was just, I don't understand why people can't figure out, you want to make a big scary fucking heel. Okay, he's got 8 goons. Have them beat the shit out of people. They always had him he's got spooky goon. And it's oh, is Evil Ono going to do, have Evil Ono do a splash on Brandy? Do I have to fucking fix everything? What are we doing?
Well, no, the problem was that they're all, let's get real, Cornette. They're all indie guys. So it's it was this cute, funny gimmick. Honestly, the best thing for the Dark Order was that they became the Putty Patrol after unfortunately, the passing of Brodie Lee. Like that's the best thing for them, because that's what they were always meant to be, is like a fun, silly, basically the fucking oh my god, the oddities. That's what they were always supposed to be, the oddities, and that's what they became. Like the Super Smash Bros from fucking indie wrestling aren't going to be your big heel tag team.
Dylan, do you know what I call? Do you know what I called the Dark Order? Ministry of Dorkness.
That was good. That would have been good for Cornette. But
I mean, you can't beat Kenny Olivier. I'm sorry, it's so demeaning. It's so
but
so
it is
funny.
True when you listen to the guy talk. He's talking about it like fucking, like it's something that I don't know. Anyway, Arn Anderson is Cody's manager. This brought me back to the fucking sweet ass Arn promo. I think it's also really cool that a babyface has a manager who is like so clearly a liability, where it's like Arn is just an old man out there, and you can do the whole thing where it's like he's got that one punch in him where it's like, that's Arn Anderson, and then it's like, no, it's Arn Anderson, he has one arm. Like,
yeah.
So then the heel can beat him up, and then he becomes, and I think that's a really good, that's the only way like a manager works for a babyface.
There's a couple things I want to say, and here's the first thing. I will not acknowledge what you said about Arn Anderson. I do agree with it, but I love him too much to acknowledge that he only has one arm. He has two strong arms. He doesn't hug his sons because they don't deserve to be hugged.
He has one arm and one arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got one arm, one son. The other son and the other arm hurt because of pills. Number two, I love Arn Anderson more than anyone. He is, I think, my favorite. I would say Arn Anderson is my favorite wrestler of all time. I never need to see him in this role. I don't like volleyball coach Arn Anderson, the manager. I don't think he looks good in a sweater. I completely agree with your point that it adds a huge amount of vulnerability to Cody, and it's another way to get heat. But he has Brandy. Get Brodie Lee to big boot Brandy. You know what I'm saying? This is wrestling. We came here to watch girls get hit by boys, baby.
See, the thing is, I think that Brandy really does communicate less of a liability than Arn, because Brandy, when you watch her move, it's like, well, she can run away. Arn can't run away. He's just a guy who's a senior citizen standing there who thinks he can beat you up. And you've seen this before. Guy who thinks he can win a bar fight. You're like, you cannot. Please, sir, don't do this. A 20-year-old is now knocking you unconscious. And you've seen it before, and it's the only thing I see in my algorithm because I like to jack to weird things.
I've seen it both ways, though. I've also seen the 20-year-old, I'm going to fucking take care of this. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't understand that man's totally fine just getting an ashtray.
I mean, you don't have Arn as Cody's manager. You miss out on the greatest promo of the last 35 years, which is I put the Glock to his head and blow his brains out.
I mean, I was about to bring that up, which I was like,
which is the greatest escalation. Like that cheer where people were like, I pull out the Glock, and then they called him Armed Anderson. And it was like, how are you going to fucking top that shit?
Well, this was the thing I was about to bring up, which is like, well, they destroyed any sort of, Arn will get hurt by being like, you know what Arn's gimmick is? His gimmick is, he's brought a gun to a fake fight.
But I mean, it would be dope if he just fucking shows the gun every time some like heel comes like, I'm gonna punch you. He's just,
well, wasn't there a moment
like he kills super crazy or whatever?
He mimed pulling the gun at one point and then spinebustered someone. And I remember thinking, there's only one way to go up from here, and that means Kenny Omega's having a fucking gun pulled on him.
I think QT Marshall sold the gunshot as if it was real, if memory serves, where he pulled the gun on QT,
yeah, I think he
did the finger thing, and then he went, oh, this is real, which is like, can you just not pretend you're a fucking indie wrestler for a second, all right? You fucking can't. All right.
I just want to say this. Now that John Cena is retiring and Cody is in WWE, I assume Arn Anderson is back in the fold in the Fed. What is the likelihood he shows a gun to Triple H just to get his job back?
Hold my mug of wine. Here's a gun.
Yeah, exactly. Also, what's the likelihood that Ric Flair's life ends with Arn Anderson shooting him? Because the answer is it's not 0%. I'm putting it there's 10% chance. Full 10%.
Yeah, without the I'm sorry, just I love you, and then just fucking blow his brains out.
Yeah, but Arn's talking to the gun. He's saying I love you to the gun, and then he shoots her.
I think the Brodie Lee thing does work. Like the meaty steak shit. Like it's like it didn't work until this angle. This is like such a minor league version of the same thing that the Lesnar Cena thing did.
That's also why sorry to interrupt. That's why I don't think it worked. It was so nakedly it was also, you have to remember, the Lesnar Cena thing was one of the biggest moments in wrestling.
Yeah.
And then fucking hell, like people talked about that for years, and then this was 4 or 5 years afterwards. Like it was still a big moment. It's up there with the amount of times WCW did the Montreal Screwjob in the wake of the Montreal Screwjob, where it's like, hey, we've seen this before. Like,
just because you've seen something before doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. And
it was so recent, and it was so clearly they were doing the same thing.
All right, so when was this, and when was the Cena Lesnar thing?
Cena Lesnar thing was SummerSlam 2014. This was
like 2021,
spring of 2020, fall of 2020. I think it was earlier
6
than
years.
that.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it was so recognizable. I disagree that it was fine. I think that they then you needed to put a different spin on it.
It's 5 minutes.
That thing with. Then it's also that thing of what I never understood with the Dark Order thing is use all your guys. Literally, you want to do a squash match, have the 8 fucking Dark Order Putty Patrol guys come out and go to Cody for a bunch of minutes, beat the shit out of him. Then Brodie comes out, 5-minute squash match. Then that's a different spin on what the fucking Lesnar Cena thing is, as opposed to what they did, which was, hey, you remember the Lesnar Cena thing? We're doing it with these guys. That's all I'm asking for. Little fucking creativity, Dylan. Don't make me take my shirt off. I'll do it.
I disagree. I mean, you can do it. It's 5 minutes, man. Of course, that's how it's different. It only took 5 minutes, and also like it conveys something different because they're on the same level. Like he just beats him up, and he's the bad guy, and he wins. Why is he the bad guy? He's the bad guy because he's annoying, and this other guy you like.
No, to give me more, for fuck's sake.
And Cody won in the end because he killed him.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You're not wrong. Cody did win in the end because he snuck in, and he replaced those pills with whatever it is that makes sure you don't breathe. Also,
and the Malachi Black one, I watched the Malachi Black one just because I was like, which one was first? It was the Brodie Lee one, and then I watched the Malachi Black where it's the same thing, and I thought the Malachi Black match was awesome because it was like even more so something where they're having a match that's clearly like one of those matches that's going to go 20 minutes and be an AEW classic. Then Malachi Black catches Cody on the top rope with his finisher. Cody goes through a table. They use there's the count of 20 in AEW. Cody crawls into the ring at 19. He does his finisher again, pins him with 1 foot, and that's how they debut Malachi Black. When people started disliking Cody Rhodes is basically it was a backlash to Cody beating Malachi Black with Arn Anderson's help because he's not mean enough. And then they put Malachi Black in the mid-card and make him a tag wrestler. That's why he got all the backlash.
I mean, it was that, but it was also he was going to get backlash at that point because it was also Cody was the avatar of AEW, and AEW was really starting to be bad.
Well, also his character hadn't evolved at all, and it was the fucking remember the Nightmare Family, and Brandy was getting on TV, and Dan Lambert was on TV, and Dan Lambert was calling Brandy a slut.
When they just came out to let us know that with the gender of their baby, I was like, why the fuck is there not a goddamn interference, right? Like, where the fuck is a snake in a box to ruin this wedding? Like, that was the thing that also, like,
yeah.
Like, people are like, where did they go wrong? And it was like, again, Cody is not a good, like, I don't think Cody is a good booker right now. Cody is a very good top of a company star who will take your good ideas and make them great, but he's not the one who should be starting, like, day one, line one, and writing it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just have an editor. Don't have him be the face of the company. Don't have him be the Mr. Press Conference. And he was booking himself like a territory babyface where it's like, yeah, check it out. I'm going to tell you guys the weather now.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like, fucking have a snake come and bite the baby. Miscarriage. That's how you do it.
Yeah, what the fuck? Where the fuck is Snitsky? You can find him. Get me Snitsky.
Yeah, get Gene Snitsky. Fuck, one of the crazy stories in wrestling was that he, like, dyed his teeth so they'd look uglier, and then they fired him. I like that.
I mean, that was pretty good. I also really liked that it turned out that Luke Gallows, who played Festus, Vince McMahon thought Luke Gallows and Festus were two different guys, and he was just like, well, first things first, nobody tell him.
All right. Next match is Sammy Guevara versus Cody Rhodes. I watched the promo leading into this where he tells there's 2 TNT titles. Let's solve it. Ladder match, both titles in the ladder. And I forgot about this when Brodie Lee's passed away. Cody, during this promo, implies that Brodie Lee's son is going to get into wrestling. And I forgot that they basically had Brodie Lee's kid around all the time. And it was like, man, don't put that on this fucking kid. But anyway,
he has an AEW contract. You don't remember that? The kid, they gave the kid.
I think that's a good thing that he has an AEW contract as a way to give money to that family. I think that's a great thing.
That's great. I don't think that they're giving money. I think that they're saying when you're 18, you can come work for us, and
you
we'll
have
make sure
to work
fuck
for
your
us.
mom.
You have to also. Did you inherit the heart condition your dad had? You have to wrestle.
Also, is that how Brodie Lee died? That was Brodie Lee, and
I have no idea how he died.
Bray Wyatt. They did you need to be clear with how these wrestlers died, because when it comes to wrestling, it's like, how did he die? Because it could be fentanyl. Put a bunch of that in his dick and tried to fuck prostitutes. You're like, wait, what? That can kill you? And he's like, the way he did it, it does.
Fentanyl. I think fentanyl could kill you without the prostitutes.
Yeah, but in your dick, fucking fentanyl.
100%. Your dick's small, maybe kill your dick, and you just kill yourself out of that.
YOLO.
Yeah, if anyone knows, how did Brodie Lee die?
Yeah,
I think that's the worst thing you could do is he died? How?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, anytime someone dies, I'm like, I don't want to know how right away. Like the same thing when I pass a car accident, I think they should put up one of those screens and be like, 2 dead. So you just know, you know how angry you need to be. Okay, no one's dead and I'm still in traffic. Fuck you. 4 dead? That's all right.
2 dead? That's still bad.
Yeah, 2 dead.
You should never ask. You should never ask how someone. That's class.
I always want to know. Don't ask.
How'd you die?
That's in the same way that anytime someone's texting, I just want to be like, I want to read that. I want to read what you're texting. I want to read the proceeding.
What you do is take a picture of it on your phone and read it off the phone, Sean. That's some bullshitting shit.
Because I want them to tell me. I want
Sammy Guevara, Cody Rhodes. One of my big pet peeves with ladder matches is the high spot in the ladder match doesn't lead to the finish, and this has one of the best high spots in any ladder match I've ever seen, and it doesn't lead to the finish at all. The finish is always like, he pushed him off a ladder.
Yeah, the thing with ladder matches there's 2 really good ones, and so every other match is a version of those 2 really good ones. It's the same problem with Hell in a Cell. When you watch Hell in a Cell, all you're thinking is like, you know what would be really good? I watched that Mankind Hell in a Cell again. And it's the same thing when you're watching a ladder match. You're either like, man, I love the Dudleys, or man, Razor Ramon has weird chest hair. You're never like, this is a good match. That's the main issue. And that's why Money in the Bank was such a good rewrite of the match, because it was a way to be like, look, it's a ladder match, but there's 6 of them. And you're like, I like that. I like that. That's 6 things to watch. So I did not enjoy this match. I don't like Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is the how do I say this? He is the son of people going through a divorce in grade 7. So he keeps doing reprehensible, shitty shit. And then when he's finally about to be held accountable, goes like, you don't understand, my mommy and my daddy don't love each other. And you're just like, shut up. In the same way, like Sammy Guevara was caught with a list of female wrestlers' homes and a ski mask and a shotgun. And then his excuse was like, I like to Twitch stream or whatever.
I mean, Sammy Guevara, unfortunately, is in the same position we are, where it's just him and his wife making Instagram sketches, which is like, that's blood curdling.
Sir, I will have you know we are in a far better position than Sammy Guevara. Also, what the fuck did they discover? Like, Sammy Guevara is one of the how did he fall so far from AEW?
He can't do a promo.
But how the idea that even WWE hasn't grabbed him up just as a fuck you to AEW is wild. Like, that's the thing is, if you're in AEW right now and you leave and don't go to WWE, that is the equivalent of a friend of yours just had a kid and for 3 months you weren't uncle whatever. You did something. They know something about you that we don't know, that they didn't give you that cost them nothing. You know what I mean? Sammy Guevara, I don't know what he did in Triple H, but I assume he took a bunch of pills and called his house and asked for his daughter or something like that.
I mean, in a land where AEW has like 19 Das Wunderkind Alex Wrights, where their whole fucking angle is that they're young, he is the lead Alex Wright in the land of Alex Wrights, where he's just gotten a lot of chances. He's really, really good, but he has like a lot of like Ultimate Warrior in match Goldberg charisma, but he's just kind of like too small and can't really do promos. And you know what? If I'm honest, it's kind of like he just gets like kind of like go away X-Pac heat, I suppose. Even though he's like as you can see by this match, he's a fucking really good wrestler. Like that diamond cutter off of the ladder is fucking insane.
Unbelievable. But the thing that's also interesting is the best moment he ever had, this isn't remembered. The initial Inner Circle was really fun, and he was the best part of it.
Yeah.
Because the best Sammy Guevara is basically a really good wrestler version of that rat that lives with Jabba the Hutt in the third Star Wars. Like Sammy Guevara's best role is stood on a turnbuckle going like that's the thing. And Sammy Guevara, you got to put him in a faction, and you got to have like. Why the fuck Sammy Guevara ever left the Don Callis family, I'll never know, because Sammy Guevara next to Kyle Fletcher, managed by Don Callis, I'd fucking watch that. Call it the Terrible Twins, call them the Hot Boys, call them the Make You Think About Stuff, John. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just another issue with wrestlers need to go somewhere more often. Cody understands that. I feel like MJF would have gained a lot just by going to WWE, even if it stunk. Just, move back and forth, keep your thing fresh.
Well, I also think MJF was truly hurt by the fact that they set up what was clearly going to be a return to him in a CM Punk feud, and then they were like, "Oh, we're not doing that. Okay, you're Bret Hart now. I don't want to be Bret Hart. Well, fuck you. I'm tired. I don't fucking know."
Yeah, I mean, the Adam Cole MJF thing is like the best way to like two guys who are like everyone was super excited for and are fantastic is the best way to like murder both those characters. But
it was literally like, hey, how are we going to turn these guys that are clearly Bret Hart 1 and Bret Hart 2 into Bob Holly? Make them friends. Make them dance.
So I think matches like this need managers just to speed everything up.
I completely agree. I think this was also the worst. Like this was the low. Like literally, Cody leaves after this match. But there's like even the presentation of Cody, the screen is this weird like smoky words that disappear and reappear. They keep stressing he's the Prince of Wrestling. He's the American Nightmare. No one is excited in this match. He hits the first time the crowd really comes alive. Sammy Guevara has to do that diamond cutter that's essentially like, suicide? That, but I'm going to back 1 foot away from it. Like,
yeah. No, this is an amazing match, but the problem is that it reminds me a lot of like MJF Wardlow, where Wardlow finally beats MJF, but the entire story is the fucking contract with the AEW. That's the entire story of the match, and Cody going to WWE completely steals any momentum that Sammy has for this match.
Such a good point, yeah, because it's like, well, no, he didn't actually win the TNT title.
Yeah, Cody was leaving.
Cody was leaving to go and appear with the worst version of Seth Rollins at, looking back, the weirdest WrestleMania ever.
But I mean, and it really comes off like this. It's like, remember, Cody Rhodes had like a fucking reality show with TNT. He was the TNT champion. He was like in it. He was going to have a show on TBS as well. Like
he was one of the hosts of the Go Big Show, a show I weirdly watched a bunch of in COVID. Because let me say this. You're going to put Snoop Dogg near Bert Kreischer and then a bunch of people that are going to fucking launch themselves on motorcycles? I don't know why, but I want to watch that pretty badly.
Yeah, I feel like there was one gross where they slam a guy where it slammed onto the hinges, like onto the upside down hinges, where wrestling has a lot of this now where it's just like, hey, does it make a loud bang? No. Does it do this? No. It just would really fucking hurt.
Yeah, they may die. Oh, why do you want to do that? Oh, I want them to die. Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, your match has a big table? There's a big table in your match? That's crazy. This guy's allergic to peanuts. He just ate a sandwich with peanut butter on it.
Oh. Hey, guys, one of the jars we have has AIDS blood in it, and we are going to make your daughter eat from a jar that looks similar, but we're not going to say if it was the same jar until you go home. you're gonna have to drive with your daughter and think about it. What's the purpose of this, buddy? My dad's a billionaire. I don't know.
But that's what wrestling, and especially stood out more in AEW, is a guy like Cody who can go out there and just eat an 8-minute segment doing a promo. Because essentially that last promo before this match is half Cody being like, you guys done forgot that I came up with this place. And once again, everyone just assuming that he was going to go back to AEW and then not doing it was absolutely insane. And then the fact that he went to WWE with his own theme song, with everything exactly the same. He just completely ported that character into WWE, essentially showed that not only is he smart, he can clearly like play Vince McMahon off himself, because who fucking gets to do that?
Well, what it was very clever was he left. It's one of those things where we now know a couple of things. One, which no one acknowledges, everyone in the so-called wrestling media are particular nemesis. That's right, Wade Keller. All were like, well, Cody's career is over. There's no way he will be buried. There is no way that this goes well. And clearly
sounds like not us and AJ Styles.
Hey, that doesn't sound like us. And yeah, that was 10 years ago. We were young and foolish. Now
we're bald and old and bald.
Yeah, now we're bald and old and we're fat from wisdom. And
yeah, I'm soaking wisdom up like a chipmunk.
Yeah, I'm gonna go dip some bread in some wisdom. And that's the thing, is that what Cody did was, how did he play Vince McMahon? Vince McMahon was distracted. Cody went and got an agent, and we're like, these are my must-haves. I get to use my own theme song. I get to pick my opponent. Like, there's a bunch of things where it's like, what's also changed in wrestling? All the big guys have agents. Like, well, why did the Young Bucks disappear after 6 months? Well, because Tony Khan's bad at negotiating, and they just got an agent who went, hey, they make this amount of appearances. Any more appearances than that, you got to give them $100,000 every time they appear. Okay, I didn't read this. I signed it. Yeah, everyone's the same. Like, it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, can you believe Cody did this? Well, yeah, because WWE was transitioning into being owned by a real company, so he just started speaking showbiz lingo, and they can't do anything about it. Like, it's fucking phenomenal, and he came back and has been great. And the other thing that I think people don't acknowledge so much for AEW is also clearly Cody backstage was a leader, because he was at least able to keep a lid on a bunch of personalities that clearly don't like each other. And that's the same thing with the WWE. Like, you don't need to read between the lines to clearly tell Kevin Owens wants to fucking swirly CM Punk. And all they do is they're like, okay, well, if CM Punk is going to be in the 3rd segment, Kevin Owens is in the 9th segment, and these two people that clearly don't like each other will just not interact.
Yeah, it's exactly like your boy Phil Brooks said, where it's like, this place is run by children. There's no one running this thing. And Tony Khan so clearly is a guy with too much going on.
What I do love is all of that. CM Punk said all of that because a guy dared to say something that would affect the fake portrayal of an elder millennial hero that CM Punk portrayed. Like, that's the thing that's so funny about all this is, what was the inciting incident? Oh, a guy trying to make people buy a wrestling match pointed out a true thing that we're all pretty sure about a guy, and he got so angry about the truth, he threw 2 bad punches at some Christians from Rancho Cucamonga.
But I mean, that dude, you shit on CM Punk for that, but like, what was the main thing that Bret Hart was upset about with the screw job?
It's the same thing.
You're killing the Hitman. You're killing the Hitman. You mean a character I pay you to play? Yes.
Yeah. By
the
way,
that character is changing. You're old now.
They're both embarrassing. Like, they're both embarrassing men. Like, it's also that thing of like, mark my words, by the way, I don't know when, it will go bad for CM Punk in WWE at some point, because CM Punk, I think I said this in the last, no one is going to do worse with aging than CM. I cannot wait for CM Punk's eventual InfoWars show, but it's going to be fucking awesome. I actually worked in Hollywood, and they're all pedophiles. How do I know? I'm a pedophile. CM Punk.
CM Punk is, unfortunately, we do have a lot of the same viewpoints, you know? I'm excited to have CM Punk on our team of progressives. It's just that his thing is a problem with a lot of progressives, where he looks like a pansexual fucking gym teacher, and boy does he act like it.
Oh, yeah. He really seems like the kind of guy that's major issue was he didn't have that threesome one time when he was managing a bar. And he will never let it go.
Yeah. My major, I'm attracted to only the most intelligent people. It's just a weird thing that most of the intelligent people are attracted to have juicy fucking titties.
Yeah, you know what the main problem? You know why people don't like me? I'm really good at stuff. Like he's one of those guys where it's
fuck yeah.
My personal favorite.
I'm too good.
Yeah. You want to know why they don't like me over there? My penis too fat.
So that's it. Cody Rhodes. What's your favorite of these 3 matches? What's your second favorite? And then the third one, because we watched 3.
My favorite is I guess the Sammy Guevara one because it was the funnest one to watch. My least favorite, Dustin Cody. Middle, Brodie Lee. I'm so happy he went to WWE. I have to tell you, I really like Cody in WWE. I really enjoyed WrestleMania 40. I'm excited to see him this match is coming out after WrestleMania but recorded, so we don't know what happened in that match, but here's my wild prediction. Hulk Hogan came out with Donald Trump. Cody turned full heel. They all got on their knees. Vladimir Putin helicoptered in. They all ate Vladimir Putin's ass in the middle of the ring. Triple H music hits. Vladimir Putin, Triple H make out. They're the new NWO.
Is that heel or is that face, John?
That's the question. It's both.
I think Cody, I can't wait till he comes back to AEW. Legit. He's going to come back to AEW in 2 years. Tony Khan is going to be like, I'm going to give you $52 million a year to be in AEW. And he'll be like, the Nightmare Family's back. QT Marshall's got a boat. He doesn't leave the boat. All he does is promos from the boat. Yeah. QT Marshall's had too many cocktails again. He's fucking pissed on the boat. That's his character, guy who pisses on boat. And Brandy Rhodes, half the show is Brandy Rhodes just reading screenplays she has finished. And my dog's dead, but we stuffed it, and it's the TNT champion.
I have 2 questions for you. Do you know what Cody's backup plan was if the WWE run did not work out?
I know. Fitness influencer.
No, he's going to start a podcast with Conrad Thompson called Y'all In. Second of all, do you know how the WWE found out and reached out to Cody?
I know.
Conrad Thompson and Cody had a relationship because of StarCast running with Double or Nothing and a few other AEW events. When it came out he had no contract with AEW, Bruce Pritchard, like during a podcast record, was like, ask him if that's real. And he was like, yeah, no, I don't have a contract. And then Bruce Pritchard called him and was like, hello, it's Brother Love. Prank call. No, and then they were just like, Vince will meet you anywhere you need to be tomorrow. And that's when that's when Cody was like, oh, fuck a duck, I can do this. And then away we went.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really nice. The Cody in AEW is a real sad moment because you're like, oh, this guy, it didn't work out so good for him, I guess. And then he heads back to WWE, and you're like, oh, I like this though.
I disagree. It worked out for him well. He started a company. Presented himself as a territory babyface who basically was like, golly gee, I couldn't beat him, but I sure hope new babyface champion can. And then people started hating him for that. He said, I'm going to leave. And they were like, yeah, sure you are. And then he did. And then he's going to come back to AEW. Like I said, all of his promos are going to, he's going to be like the new Dean Martin show where he's going to hand someone a cocktail and be like, I don't like you. Who's my opponent? Wardlow still? Sure. And then take the cocktail back, drink it. You can pin me, but I'm still but I get a straw so I can keep drinking this thing. They're like, all right.
Here's my question for you. When he re-debuts in AEW in 5 years, Adam Cole is still trying to figure out if he's on the same side as Kyle O'Reilly, right? Like they're still unable to deduce.
They're still talking about the man who is the future of AEW, the now 62-year-old Orange Cassidy.
Oh, yeah. Orange Cassidy died, but what they do is they just play Jane and someone brings a jacket to the ring, and everyone's like, yeah, that's basically what it was.
Yeah, they just put aviators on a jacket and say Orange Cassidy's a ghost now.
I will say my favorite of all the things that Jim Cornette hates about AEW, my personal favorite was how angry he was that they gave Orange Cassidy the song Jane, where I was like, I did not know that Cornette repped Starship so hard. He's like, these motherfuckers, that's Paul Kantner. You know, it's a gimmick. Oh, it's so good.
John, that's it.
This is over now. Go back to your lives. Don't tell anyone about us except for your friends.
Yeah, don't tell anyone about us. Next week is
It's our
Darso.
secret.
Shh, the secret. This only happened once. It was between us. Don't tell your dad. Hey everybody, here are the matches we're watching. If you want to watch along for next week, Mike Enos versus Mr. Hole-in-One Barry Darso from February 6th, 1999. Demolition versus Andre and Haku from WrestleMania 6. The King of the Road match from WCW Uncensored, 1995. And SummerSlam 92, Repo Man versus Crush. YOLO.